people like that. You don't want it at the...
You know I'm like a triple alto. Y'all forgive me.
That's what she be doing. So she want to work her way up to it, amen. So she can blow your hair and stuff. If you got a wig on, amen, hold it down. Because it's going to blow off. You got a hat up, ma'am. Hold your hat. Yes. Oh, okay, you got your hat. Because she going to blow that off. Okay, you can start wherever you want. Are you ready? Mom, stop being scary. I know. Okay.
Wonderful change has come over me. Wonderful change has come over me.
What's the verse?
I know He changed this whole life complete. Now I sit, I'm gonna sit at Master's feet to do what must be done. I'm working until He Wonderful change has come over me. Wonderful change has come
They say life is what you make it. Well, I'm a legend in the making. I know just what I'm made of. They say life is what you make it, yeah. Well, I'm a legend in the making, yeah. I know just what I'm made of, yeah, yeah. They say life is what you make it. Well, I'm a legend in the making. I know just what I'm made of. They say life is what you make it, yeah. Well, I'm a legend in the making, yeah. I know just what I'm made of, yeah.
Yay. I like that intro, Quan. I do. We can't thank Dula enough. It said life is what you make it. I'm a legend in the making. I think I got quite a few on here that are legends in the making, or I pretty much almost made it. Guys, I have a wonderful show today. I am your host, Dionne Johnson. My co-host is, he doing all right today. Normally I have to watch Quan. Quan tend to want to hit the wrong thing too soon. And I don't know
It
if
ain't the
y'all...
wrong. It ain't the wrong.
Okay, let me say it right. Quan tends to want to hit the right thing at the wrong time. How about that? Guys, that's my whole big
Well, at
homie
least you
Quan.
stay ready.
See, I'm just saying, we are in the building. You already know who we are. We thank you so much for tuning in. And as we always do, we bring you some wonderful, wonderful guests. I am honored to be sitting here today. And it's our guys. I know y'all jealous. I know y'all jealous of me. I even got a good looking white man right here. Look at it. Good looking. Look.
With shades.
Got his shades on. I'm just saying, if I said can't handle the trouble, I didn't mean to. I'm just saying it's in the building. But I do another show called Can't Handle the Trouble. And right now I'm about to get in trouble with these good looking men. Look at them. I'm telling you. See what I'm saying? Guys, if y'all are married, don't tell the women right now. Let's just let them enjoy the moment. Don't F it up for these women, okay?
Please. I don't see no ring. Wait a minute. Where's my ring at?
Wait a minute. Don't do it. He had to do it. Go ahead then. See now, I thought you was a real estate agent. See now y'all know y'all got
She probably watching this right now, wondering, I'm doing the right thing.
yeah.
She about to turn into millionaire matchmaker.
He right. She probably like, now I'm gonna see if he show the damn ring. Show the ring. Show the ring, Matthew. Show the ring. Don't let me down, Matthew. You did a great job.
No, you got it right here. You got it right there. That's real.
I'm saying it's getting too hot. Too hot.
That means it's some real love there, Matthew. Look at that, guys. That's a real guys. Don't be mad at me. See, Matt, they already mad. You bring a handsome white guy with a great job on it. He got a wife. How you do this to us? They already upset. And I'm telling you, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Well, you know now that Kevin Samuels didn't pass, everybody feeling like, it's free reign now, so we can do what we want to.
Yes, guys, if y'all looking,
we can't cut up no more.
No, if y'all looking, y'all know I got big homie Quan here, and I'm just saying, but my guys, I got real estate agent. Oh my God, a veteran. I told him I wanted to thank him for his service. If I read it right, Matthew, you've been doing real estate for 20 plus years, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So, guys, we know I'm bringing you some true. This is what we call a legend, because he's definitely. If he don't know it, Matthew, I know you can tell him where they can find out, because you've been doing this so long. Guys, we got
no.
Go ahead.
No, we're all blessed. We got a good group.
We got a great group. I got Devontae up here. In my corner, Devontae is in Florida, Miami,
baby.
Miami with real estate. We got Mr. I told you, Demetrius Deason, I was bringing you back. Now we bringing him back. We talking to him. We're gonna talk to him about his Airbnbs and everything that's going on there. I want to talk to
car rentals, comedy tour, black-owned comedy tour, going on tour, 6-year on tour. Non-profit work we about to give away about 1,000 backpacks in August to anybody that want to come out in LA. I've been doing that for like 8 years now, and yeah, just expanding, creating, giving out information, giving the information back on YouTube now. So on the YouTube channel, let people learn, grow from it, and just connecting dots. So I'm excited to be here. I hope I don't blow up the internet and all everything.
You already shut my stuff down. You already shut my stuff down. I'm mad at you. You already, and he's still trying to do it. He shut it down.
It ain't right if you don't shut it down.
No. Devontae also, y'all guys keep in mind, Devontae does sing, play piano. Devontae, did I see you with an electric guitar?
I got videos. If you go on to YouTube, Kojo Entertainment. There's Kojo spelled like Boris Kojo, Kodjoe. There's also Kojo Entertainment on Facebook. You can also see my videos on my YouTube page. I_am_Devontae. I post my reels there. My musical influences are Prince, Little Richard, Jimi Hendrix, all like anybody that was up there. That's my music. That's why I'm so flashy like I am, because I say you got to put it on and you got to give them a show. Some people can give a show. I know how to give them a treat.
Well, I won't have to have him on.
But see, the thing about it is also right below you guys, we have Myers Clark, comedian and everything. Myers is here because Myers is going to be doing a show. He has a show coming up, and Myers worked with, he and I both worked with the legendary, late, great Barbara Morrison, jazz and blues legend, and that's going to be the Barbara Morrison Performing Arts Center. So we're going to flip back to that, but I want to get to Matthew because I want to ask him a question real quick, because we are going to be talking about real estate and Airbnbs. I have Myers here because anything that he's doing, I always want to come in and help him promote, and anything that has to do with Barbara Morrison, I want to make sure it's promoted. And that's without a doubt. But Matthew, what I want to ask you of 20 years, real estate, is it hard to make money in that field?
Man, I've seen thousands come and go out of this office, for some it's easy, for some it's not so easy. So I think it's just a matter, if you're able to find a niche and what your determination, your behavior into, really making it the most. But it's a loaded question. I mean, I've done very well, but I've definitely had my ups and downs. But I think it's water, food, shelter. It's right up there. If you can't make money in those three, I don't know, you in trouble.
Yeah, I like that. That was deep. But I asked that question. I know it sounds like you said, it's an open-ended question, but because I hear a lot of people wanting to get into real estate seriously, and you've been doing this for 20 years, so I'm sorry, but you're like the OG veteran, And I know, like you said, over this time, I know you've seen real estate go up, go down, people lose homes. You get what I mean? All of these things, you've experienced it. But when I say this, what does it really take? And you know this if you've seen people come and go, to be good at being a real estate agent, to be successful.
Good mentorship. You can't even like, the fight game, like, they have coaches, they have conditioning, they have dietitians. I mean, they got to come with the crew, the community. And if you don't have that, it ain't going to happen.
So now that was a hell of an answer. So basically, you're basically saying to be successful in it, it's like you said, like the fight game or coaching, you need good mentorship.
Yes.
Yes. To the mentorship.
Yes.
So have you mentored quite a few, Matthew? Have you been do you feel like you've been a great mentor?
Yeah, absolutely. I've done my community right. I probably, I train men. That's what I do. I've spent time in the military. I've been on plenty of sports teams. This is what I do. This is what God put me here for. Is I run men and women, and I take them mostly I take people that don't know nothing about anything and misdirected and put them on the phone and teach them away and try to teach them how to make money and grind. I like those hungry type of people, because I learned in this world, it doesn't take you being educated or smart, or just take somebody that has a good, just desire, discipline, and fortitude to make themselves better. Once you get that, you're unstoppable. A lot of talent, but without discipline and good work ethic and a will to change, I mean, it ain't nothing. So that's really the fellas. I used to get like these high-end guys that been in the business, license. I call them my Ferraris. I don't want a Ferrari. I just want a good little Toyota, and those are the guys that tend to make good money, and tend to be more loyal and get more out of this industry and become millionaires.
Wow, I like that. You say you like just get you a good, reliable Toyota.
Yeah.
I like that terminology.
Dang Prius now.
Dang Prius now. See? So basically. I like that. Guys, I hope that if you're listening, you're just tuning in, I have my agents on and my Airbnb specialists, and these people are starting to give you some great knowledge. Matthew just really dropped some jewels. And even I didn't realize that he's saying bid in real estate, one of the number one things is going to be mentorship, having someone that's going to take you under their wings. So I'm thinking Matthew's basically telling you, don't walk in being arrogant and being, and think that's going to work. So I think, Matthew, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but would you say being more humble when you come in hungry and humble?
I mean, the game's different though. When, the game's really different. If you're going into Airbnb, I think you can solo that on your own. You just jump in. And I know some fellas that I think even Juice, started renting out his room, and, you don't need nothing for that. You just need, to jump in, take a cannonball in the deep end and, learn how to swim real quick, and you'd be very successful. But I'm talking like being licensed, learning how to, run, do mortgages. These things, you got to be licensed, NMLS licensed, you got to be DRE licensed, you got to have all kinds of insurance. It's a different game. But if you're going into Airbnb, you could do that on your own. I know plenty of people that are flipping homes, doing that. Probably do it on your own, but if you want to make a profession out of selling loans, quoting rates, guiding people financially, or helping somebody buy and sell a piece of real estate, it's a little bit more intricate.
Got you. So Dante, you heard what he was saying. So do you consider yourself an agent, or are you doing just the Airbnbs?
So for me, I actually went to real estate school twice, actually. Failed the test, failed it 3 times, failed it by the same amount all times. And I said, you know what? maybe this ain't for me. Now, I wanna preface something on that because my particular coach, she told me, she wrote a book, Tamika Bryant. She wrote a book called 99 Ways to Make Money in Real Estate, finding the niche that pays. So the first thing you got to do is you have to figure out what your niche is. And so it could be Airbnb. It could be getting your real estate license. You could be a broker, you could be a transaction coordinator, you could be a wholesaler. But there's a lot of ways to make money in real estate without necessarily having to have a real estate license, and you can make big money without it. Right. And so for me, the way that I came in was, well, let me come in as an investor agent, because what I found out is that in most states, I know the states that I work in, if you own the property, then you can run it like you run it. So I have a real estate company, but I'm not a licensed agent, and I don't have to be, because all the properties I manage and lease are properties that I own.
Same here.
That was see, that's what
same here.
But
I like that.
Yeah, that's what Matthew was saying. But and that's a good way too. And I want people to know that other route as well. But I want them to know every avenue of it. That's why we're doing it this way. Devontae, you also were in the service. I want people to know, because right now with everything we're going through, I want people to make sure we honor and support our veterans and our people in the military. What branch of service were you in, Devontae? And then
I was in the Navy. That's why I remember my guy. That's when my guy Matt here said jump in and just swim. That's literally what they do. They take you on top of the ship. They let you practice over the pool. If you don't jump, somebody gonna come up behind you and they gonna push you.
So okay, Matt, were you in the Navy too?
No, Devontae, thanks for your service, big dog. I appreciate you. No, I was in the Marine Corps, so the Navy, man, we couldn't go do nothing without those fellas.
And you know what? A lot of Marines, they like to joke and say the Navy is the Uber. I said, but when you need to get out of there, who you gonna call?
I love it. Guys, I normally do a commercial break, but the way I'm gonna do the break is we're not gonna do a commercial. I'm gonna go to Myers Clark and say, no, he got a show he got to get out and do. This handsome guy, a good friend of mine for quite a while now, probably 3 years we've known each other. He's here because he's putting on a show, and that's on Juneteenth, right?
Yes, it's Saturday, this Saturday, the 18th. And this is the flyer for it. I don't know if you guys can see it.
I'm going to put it up again. Go ahead, but show it.
It's called Comedy Soul, where we mix both R&B with comedy. We usually have 3 or 4 comics. This time we are like really blessed. This time we have everyone as a headliner. That we have. We got Smokey D's, we got my man Brandon Wiley, and we got the princess from Leimert Park, Ramona Stevens, who we're kind of partnering together to try to make this a room, because Barbara Morrison was really good to us. So Barbara Morrison, the legendary singer who recently passed away, she kind of gave me my first comedy room, and we're having like a tribute to her. We're gonna have food, we're gonna have some drink, and we're just gonna have a lot of fun. And I wanted to do this. If you are in Leimert Park or in LA, you wanna come and you mention I'm Just Saying, the first 2 people that mention that get in free. Anyone else who mentions it can get in for half price. And we're gonna have some fun. It's gonna be packed, and I just can't wait to get back out with the people. You know, we've been locked down for a while. You know, somebody said, Ali, I'm free. And we
trying to be outside in 2022.
In 2022. And listen, Matthew, y'all let me know if Quan take his ass up there talking about I'm just saying, trying to get in free. Okay. Y'all let me know. But y'all heard Matthew, he said, y'all keep calling Matthew. I think it's something to do. I don't mean it in a negative way. I guess we feel got a bond because, like I said, my mom's last name is Matthew. And I just think you and I have a bond with that name. And my uncle, my uncle, who I love more than anything in this world, everybody called him Matt because his last name was Matthew. So yeah. But with Myers, this is what we're gonna do. Myers is telling you guys, listen, if you go down on Dignan, he's gonna give you the address. In Leimert Park at the Barbara Morrison Performing Arts Center. If you don't know about Barbara Morrison, you should. She's a jazz and blues legend. She's worked with everybody from, I don't even know where to start. Nat King Cole, Sarah Vaughan. We could just go on. She's worked with Shaka Khan. You know, she shared the stage with some of the best and the greats, and she was a legend. And we lost her. I think it hasn't been long. It's been about a couple of months ago. that she passed, and it shocked everybody. But if you go down to her Performing Arts Center and you want to have a good time, get some drinks, and hear some comedy and good music, and enjoy yourself. Go in. Myers does what he says. He's a man of his word. He'll be right there. You let him know. As you say, the first two that say I'm just saying, he's gonna let them in free. Anyone else that says it, if they heard it on I'm just saying, or I'm just saying, they're gonna get in half price. Make sure that you go out and support this. This is also an honor he's doing for Barbara Morrison, the queen and legend herself. And Myers, give them the address and everything before you go out on me.
Okay, yeah, it's at 4305 Degnan Boulevard, Los Angeles, California, 9008. We're also on Eventbrite. If you look up Comedy Soul, I'm going to have $10 tickets up there for 2 more days. But it's better just to come on down. Come on down and say, I'm just saying.
See, I love it.
You know?
You got to promise me you're going to come back on the show. You got to promise me that you got
without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
So I have everybody's information, guys, at the end of the show. All of your information is going to roll at the end of this show so people know how to get in touch with you. If somebody's looking for a home, want to buy a home, want to sell a home, want to get into any of the information, anything that you guys are doing, I have everything listed that you do and how long you've been doing it, and that I trust you and I give you all my seal of approval, so they need to reach out to you. So, Myers, we thank you for coming by. Okay. We appreciate it. Have a good show tonight, my brother.
All right, I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good one.
All right, good luck. Good luck. Yeah, he's a good luck.
Good luck. Kill it.
Guys, that was Myers
Robinson right there. Yeah. Smokey Robinson, ladies and gentlemen.
I know. Hey, man, that's my first joke. Everybody think I'm a Smokey Robinson impersonator. You know? Hey, baby, let's cruise away.
You already know, I know.
Hey, I'll check y'all out.
Just hit your end button, baby, and you out. All you gotta do is cut it off with your phone, and you're good.
Thanks.
Have a good one, guys. Have a great one. Guys, we're back. That was our little short commercial. I wanted him to come on and promote and everything. Now, Juice, Demetrius, you were just talking when Matthew was saying about make sure you have your license, make sure you have certain things, and he also spoke right away, letting it be known that there are other ways though, like with the Airbnb. How did you get started with the Airbnb?
Originally, for me, I'm a comedian, but I always been a hustler and I always been a boss. So I always wanted to be in my own position when I can make decisions and get people, open up doors for people. So for me, anytime I learn something or I master something, I see how can I leverage, so how can I take it to the next level. So for me, I've been touring. I'm a comedian. I've been touring for 10 years now. When I go out and tour, I always go. I'm not just a typical comedian, no disrespect to nobody doing comedy. But when I go out and do comedy, I tap in with the community. I tap in with the Boys and Girls Clubs. I meet with the mayor. I meet with the city hall meetings. I go to some basketball games. So I built these type of relationships over the last 9, 10, 12 years, just doing good business, making sure I put people first, making sure I'm a man of my word. So kind of when I do business, all intercepting of what makes sense. I kind of just, my specialties, I know how to make people feel good, and I know how to charge a high price because of that, because I'm good at what I do. So in terms of this, for me, so when I own my own comedy club. I was a comedian that got into the game for producing. I'm funny, yeah. I know how to make people laugh, yeah. I know how to sell out shows, yeah. But I know how to count this money, and I know how to organize people to make us work together as a team to make more money. So when I got in the game, within 3 months, I was already producing my own shows and comedy in LA, touring. I was already, because I already had the relationships. But I played basketball. I already had the NBA guys, I had the football guys. So throughout that time, it taught me I could put myself in more doors by having my own stuff. So from there, I just kept producing and kept like kind of going that route. So when the pandemic hit, I had my own comedy club. I had a comedy club in Inglewood. I was booking headliners to come do my show, do my club. From there, they'll meet me, be like, wow, you own this? You put your own money into this? You run this? Yeah, I also run my own tour. We'll build a relationship.
So when you were doing this, and I'm just asking, through all of this and getting that name out there and the pandemic happened, was the pandemic the reason you decided you wanted to shift and start
100%, 100%. because the pandemic shifted my whole way of thinking. I was a person that was just hustling. And I was creating these bills and creating this lifestyle of stuff I have to maintain, but not counting about how much money or how much opportunity, how much jobs I'm creating as well. So during the pandemic, once I lost my club, I started counting my money. I started hiring a bookkeeper. I started really doing the ins and out of, all right, I'm hustling, but I already know how to make money. Now can I hustle and make this money go to the next level? I'm like, the first thing I said, well, I want to own my own. I want to make money on tour and not pay hotels. So for me, that's how I got into Airbnb.
That's how you
I'm like,
got
all
into
right, well,
Airbnb. You didn't want to
when
pay
I
the
was
hotels.
you see what I'm saying? I've been touring for 6 years. I paid over 300,000 to hotels. When I was struggling, when I lost my club, no hotel didn't come out to reach out to me. I've donated money to these hotels. I raised money for these hotels, did free shows. So I'm like, all right, bet. So when I go back, I'm going to really be on some all money in. I'm going to not only make sure my team eat, I'm going to go on tour and I'm going to create my own shows, book my own talent, fly my own team out, and they're going to stay at my cars. They're going to stay at my house, stay at my house, rent my cars, and then it's all money in. So when we go on tour, we really mobilize in a whole different way.
So how many
So
Airbnbs do you have?
I have 5 right now, but we just got a line of credit last week, so I'm about to have 20 by the end of next month.
So but you had the 5. Where are they located?
It's turn up time.
Where are the 5 located?
Small money. We done with small money. We doing everything big.
Where are the 5 located? I wanted the people to be able to find.
I have 2 in Vegas. I have 2 in I have 1 in Inglewood. I have 2 in Oklahoma. One in Tulsa and 1 in Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma and Tulsa. Because I want people to find it.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're right now they're on Airbnb, they're on Vrbo. We're right now we got 5 stars reviews on both. And it was just kind of like this I organically build relationships. So yeah, I can make money, but I serve my purpose by me teaching my story. I started my journey living in a motel. I didn't know how to read. I was in special ed. People told me my whole life because I thought out for myself and knew how to be myself everywhere that I was different. I now know who I am, and now I know the level of impact I have in my work with my community. I want to expand that to the world, because I believe nobody was put on here to work a 9 to 5 all day, struggle just to have money. Nah, you was put here to each individual was put here to do their purpose and help the next person get through what we got going on. And that's how I serve my comedy. That's how I serve my business. So it all makes sense. Yeah, I got rental cars, but my prices are the best prices than anybody else. Why? Because I care about, I got money. I've been having money. I've been having money for years. It ain't about me making money no more. It's about me teaching people how to make money so they can be able to raise their kids the right way, raise their family the right way. Because I know how important that is, because I come from a motel.
Well, guys, he letting y'all know that.
Quick question.
Just a quick question. What's up? Man.
What's going on? This is Chris.
Chris, my bad.
And it's Chris, it's funny that you did that, because I was finna come to you because I hadn't asked you the question I asked Matthew.
Yes, sir. There we go. There you go, Matt. Go ahead, Chris.
What made you choose Oklahoma?
So like I said,
instead of like Texas and all these other ones that are booming really now too.
That's a great
basketball team and the stadium.
Great question. So I've been going to Oklahoma for 10 years. My best friend is Russell Westbrook. So I used to go out there and run his basketball camps. I used to be out there meeting people. I have a great following of people in Oklahoma. So when I started doing comedy shows, we used to do the first big show I did with 1,000 people was in Oklahoma. So my market is majority Oklahoma. So when I got my first Airbnb, I knew I could get it for a lower price in Oklahoma, because I'm from LA. I'm like, yo, I'm not about to pay over the top, but I could get a nice condo downtown, charge a lower rate, get it booked consistently. When I come in town, stay there, do my business, network. And from there, that's kind of what I did from there.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. No, I appreciate that.
And please tell them how much Oklahoma, people sleep on Oklahoma. Oklahoma turns up.
Oh yeah, it's money. It's money in Oklahoma, and it's money in Tulsa. Like the state, city of Tulsa is I don't know if people. That's the original Black Wall Street. That's where money was. I'm trying to open up an icy shack down there. It's a lot of different opportunities in business, because they're still getting everything back going. So when you not from that state and you come invest in that city and that state, they get behind you. I got the mayor behind me. They're like, yeah, we gotta get you. We gotta help you do this. But it's because they feel the energy of they need more people that's like-minded, that's moving forward and trying to do things of. Not just watching, you know what I'm saying? It's like, not everybody don't know how to do it.
Doors sub 49,000, I believe, still.
Yeah.
So as long as you're buying those doors cheap.
And the thing about it, a lot of people don't. A lot of people really don't know about, and it's still all the South. I'm if you can't hear it in my voice, I don't know what to tell you. And I'm born and raised
No, we
Arkansas.
can hear.
I'm born
We
and
can
raised
hear.
Arkansas, so I know Oklahoma. My son coached in Oklahoma for quite a few years, 2 different
Yeah,
colleges. And
yeah,
I visited quite often. I'm not I visited anyway because it wasn't far from there, really, 5-hour drive. But there's money in those states, even Arkansas.
yeah.
There's plenty of
Absolutely.
money, land,
Mhm.
and I mean, a home down there for what I pay here, I could have 2 homes.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
You know,
Or
In
honest to
Arkansas,
mansion.
God. Yeah.
Or
So,
A
mansion.
you can have a
a five
mansion.
home.
yeah.
And
So, Chris,
and
you
and
know.
that to me is the ultimate goal. People always ask me, well, you got the cars, you got the Airbnbs. Right now, you're in 5 different states. What's the ultimate goal? I'm like, I've already gave you the play. When I go on tour and I go to 45 cities, states, we're gonna have properties. Right now, we're renting out the places, we leasing them. But the goal is on the back end, we come back and buy them. Like when I first got into this game, I already had $250. Now off of leveraging my name, me building my brand, me getting the EIN numbers, getting legit. Now we got 10 cars that we own. We got properties that we about to own. We're leveraging and getting to the next level that we could charge them, give people a better rate.
What he's
We
doing
can
is
give you a
he's
great
doing
deal.
what we
We only
call great entrepreneurship and make sure he's building his brand. Chris, you just sit down and I'm just seeing your face. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. It's great to see your face. Let me ask you
Uh,
something, because I want to
yeah.
know. Matthew just told us a little bit about a lot about real estate and what really motivates
give
him
us some
to work.
game, Chris. Give
Well,
us
we
some
want
game.
yeah. What I want from you, Chris, is for you to tell me first of all what made you. I mean, what placed you into real estate?
Okay,
Nice
so
question.
I was gonna go to law school right out of college when I graduated. Two of my buddies had already been working at a company, and they said I'd be making $25,000 per month,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, "Yeah, bullshit." So I went the first month. I made $2,000. I'm still saying I'm going to law school, and then the next month I made 26,000.
Are you serious?
I brought my money home, showed my mom and dad. My mom asked me if I was dealing drugs. I'm like, first off, they don't pay you in checks.
Chris, let me ask you a quick.
Hey, I can tell you, hey Chris,
Chris,
now
let me
being
ask you a quick
legit, I can
question
tell
because
you for
we
sure
are.
they don't pay you in checks.
Let me ask you a quick
Yeah.
That's
question,
what I
guys.
said to her.
Guys, let me ask
Sorry.
you a question because I want to make sure we get all this taken care of. We on a short time frame because I'm gonna lose Demetrius in a minute. He gotta go. He's gotta take care of some business and everything. But I gotta get these questions out, Chris. What I want to ask you though, because I see you around Matthew a lot, and Matthew talked a lot about mentorship. Did he mentor
Mhm.
you?
No,
He didn't. Okay.
actually, him and I worked at another company,
Mm-hmm.
and we found each other that way. We ended up talking to each other, saying, "Hey, let's go start our own thing. We'll make way more money." So him and I broke off, and I handle the back end of the files. Matt
Mm-hmm.
handles the front end. So up until just a couple years ago, Matt was selling everything, and I do all the back end, just making sure our warehouse lines were available, making sure all the licenses are current, up to date, and then employee packages, etc., 1099s, and dealing with more of the administrative stuff.
I'm gonna ask you
So
a
that's
question
how
with
we
what you
ended up.
just said because of what Devontae said, and listen to Demetrius. And I'm asking this question because you guys are licensed real estate agents, but they're making it work. There are other ways, too. So, but what I want to ask you, because you say you handle other things, break that down. Like I just don't
Okay,
know anything about real estate. Like for instance, I know you're saying Matthew pretty much does a lot of the selling, right?
correct. So
And,
on the real estate side, there is you have all the paperwork that you have to do on the backside versus just showing the property and doing your walkthroughs and your contingencies. So he'd keep the borrowers on board the entire time. And then in the background, I'm working with their loan application. I'm making sure it gets submitted, gets underwritten. After the underwritten, we lock the rate in to make sure that they can qualify all the way through. And at that point, Matt still has to keep them on the hook for that 30 days because it takes a while. And then I would come in at the end, get the loan docs. He'd talk to them, I'd talk to them, and next thing you know, they're stoked and giving us referrals.
I love that. I love that. And ask Matthew, is that hard to do? Keep someone on? Because I know me and everything, and I know buying a house is not a fast process. So is it hard, Matthew, keeping the family, or them on the hook once you already got them, caught the fish? Is it hard keeping that fish while Chris is in the back doing the paperwork?
Yeah, no, it's closing. It's an art. You got to be an artist, and you gotta really understand human behavior and context. You have to, it helps if you're formally trained. And that's kind of a little bit what I do now. I formally train individuals how to sell, and that helps making it a whole lot easier. But you know, most of it's just stuff that, you know, I just was able to pick up on. I had a knack for it. I was good at closing people, keeping them emotionally involved, and, you know, keeping them kind of tied down. And but in general, it's better if you get formally trained how to sell. But it's a tough biz in sales because you're turning no's into yeses. You know, you're really trying to. Yeah, it's a
like
process.
selling cars.
But go ahead and tell them, Matt,
It's
that
like selling cars.
But go ahead and tell them, Matt, that your military training, it helps you a lot with that, because keeping people, you remaining in control in a stressful situation, because buying a house is a stressful situation.
Yes.
You in control, and then being able to read other people's emotions, and then also being able to you know, tell them about that, because I think that's what helps me too, is that when people freak out, I'm like, oh, it's not that bad. Trust me, it's not that bad.
Yeah, no, and I think you're right. I think in the military, I remember, like, you know, even when you go through boot camp, they try to disrupt you. They try to take you out of your norm. They put a lot of background noise in you. They create chaos. And so, and what they're trying to do is, because when you're in a real wartime situation, you got to remain calm. You got to be able to focus on what the goal is, focus on, you know, what the mission is. And you can't allow all this other stuff around you to disrupt you, or, you know, hunger, sleep, you know, all the craziness, chaotic stuff. And you got to remain focused. And I think in real estate, I think a lot of times, that's what I learned, man. That's a huge thing. What you said there is a lot of what I think makes a successful agent, is you have people that are like on the fence, they have overcoming objections. You know, there's you know,
The wet feet,
all kinds of stuff. And
the family, should we actually buy this one because there's something next door that we can buy?
Something.
A lot of different issues.
Calm, you know.
But he's being modest, by the way. This dude can sell anybody. And I had the pleasure of working with him for 20 years, and he would sell you real quick. He just gets into your head and he knows the deal.
Well, what I want to ask you, Matt, another thing I want to ask you, and this is what probably a lot of people gonna want me to ask. This is a major question, because there are a lot of people trying to buy a home right now, and you too, Devontae, you guys know the prices are really, you know, they're going up. They're not really going down. And so if you have someone, say either one of you, I'm gonna say for Florida with you and for California with you guys, say you have someone coming in wanting to buy a home, and they're at a budget, and especially let's say here in California, and they're like, I only have $1 million. So what can you find for them in what area? And they're adamant about the area, what areas they don't want to live in.
I'm gonna let Matt go first, because he's the trendsetter.
Well, no, I'll be honest. It's like I could go on any different scenarios. I know somebody that's on dope will always have dope. They want it, they're gonna get it. And so it just depends on your ability, your want, and your, you know, just your perseverance to get it. You maybe have to get something that you don't want first, and then you can get on into something a little bigger, like starter home, into, you know, a condo or something, or even a rental for 1 to 2 to 3 years. It's a process. I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm a very successful guy. I didn't just move into a nice home. My first home was a 2-bed, 1-bath condo in a really shady place. And so I did my time there, sold out of that, and I moved up. And then I got to a point where, you know, I'm okay. I've been in the same house for 20 years now, but I think that anybody could do anything. It's just a matter of if they're willing to, you know, sacrifice.
How bad they want.
Yeah, if they're willing to, like, take something less than what they initially have in their mind. Like a lot of these new generations, even my generations, we want the right now. We're not willing to put the work in it. But if you want to go ahead and you know get into this thing and get something small for a while, 1 to 2 years, dump out, get something. It's all for you. There's a lot of other options too. It just depends, like, how you want to get creative. Lease option to buy, owner carried. You go to the place that has the board. Somebody just died, and I love those. I love all the nastiness in life. You want to get your, you know, right now, everybody want a turnkey. No one want to get their hands dirty. So if you're willing to get your hands dirty, then you're going to get you a spot. And it's just, even in my neighborhood right now, I got a house in my neighborhood right now. It's got old ass carpets, 1970 you know, the cabinets and the thing is, and it's going for 600,000-700,000 less than the neighbors. But this thing won't sell because no one want to get in there. But I'm about this from just getting it.
Buying it,
But
flipping
I'm too. I don't
That's
wanna
what
do
you
that no
would call
more.
a fixer upper. So would you say
Man,
that's a
that's
good?
something else. That's a. But I'm
Worse.
just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. If there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
one of the ones you see on TV.
Yeah. What about?
Let's talk about that TV. That's all BS too. Let's stop now watching
Well,
$1 million, all that. Let's
Please
stop
tell me,
all
because
that.
I'm watching it. I'm watching it like, okay, I'm
yeah,
ready.
watching
that's
too.
selling,
I watch
selling
it too, but
Sunset,
it's just
selling
entertainment.
Sunset, selling
I-
Tampa. All that shit is bullshit. I be
I'm
watching
see,
this
guys,
shit. I'm
y'all
like,
got
I don't
y'all got
know.
real estate agents telling y'all don't be
I give-
watching this shit falling for it.
I
They
gave up.
out
I
they
gave up
out
watching
there.
those shows the minute I pulled title on all the properties that they said they owned.
Now I'm gonna get a cease and desist tomorrow morning. Okay, so bleep that out.
Okay. Now he didn't say that. He just don't want you to watch things. It's like the Real Housewives. Do you really believe that they all hate each other?
No, those crazy people, maybe those crazy ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, because here's the thing.
They
I
give them
watch
extra money if they fight.
But the housing one is, I don't know if it's real. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Okay.
No, we got it.
Some of the ones on HGTV, you know, if they show you a little bit of it, but they're not really showing you. You know, they're not showing you the real grit. Especially that selling Sunset and that selling Tampa. So I watch both of those because you know what I'm saying. And I'd be like, okay, first of all, everybody's drinking wine all the time, and they always sitting out having lunch.
Yeah,
and ain't nobody sweating. Everybody got nice clothes on, and I'm like, oh no, we out here because sometimes if you, especially if you're an investor or a wholesaler, whatever, you might have to go out there and swing a hammer too. You might have to get on top of the roof too.
Have you seen that all those shows? They only have one problem per house when they're flipping it.
Yeah.
I have not seen one house that has that. It has like 10, 15 problems, and then you got to move forward.
You're right about that. You're right about
They show 2 minutes. They show 2 minutes, and then they say, "Well, yeah, we're just gonna have to increase the budget, but you know, another 15,000 or whatever."
Yeah, especially on a support beam or a foundation. Sure.
Yeah.
A couple grand in that, no big deal.
I'm glad y'all saying something. Now look, Devontae, what you were saying that how you started, how you know you took the test more than once and everything, so you found another way around it. How did you do that? How did you make your way? Because it piggybacks off of what these guys are all saying, from Demetrius to Chris and Matt. How did you make it work?
So for me, I'm gonna go all the way back to the beginning. So when I was coming up, my dad and my aunties and my uncles, they all kept saying to me, they said, when you turn 18, by the time you leave the house, you should have a house that's paid for, you should have a car that's paid for, and you should have at least 4 to 5 digits in the bank. That's when you leave the house. And so that's what they kept ingraining in me over time, because especially in a lot of minority households, we feel like that once a child turns 18, they're an adult, and we should just turn them loose and they'll figure it out, because that's what they had to do. We figured it out, so they'll figure it out. And so it's like, no, the whole point of you figuring it out is so that we don't have to. It's so that we can build on top of that. So I came with that mindset. And so I've been in real estate since 2013. I started out as an investor, and I said, okay, all my uncle kept saying was, you need to get a deed. You need to get a deed. You need to get a deed. And I was like, well, I ain't got no money, so I'm gonna get a deed. So I tried to, go get a loan, and I went to Keller Williams and Remax, and I talked to everybody, and they was like, well, you ain't got no money, you ain't got no job, you just came out of school, you got student loan debt, so you ain't gonna get no money the traditional. You're not gonna get money from real estate the traditional way. So my auntie, she was looking in the paper. And what ended up happening was that we kept hearing about these.
Somebody, I got some noise in the background. Somebody may need to mute.
I think it might be Quan.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. So my auntie kept looking.
Quan, I need you to mute. Go ahead.
I kept looking in the. We kept looking in the paper, and we kept hearing about these land tax sales. And so we was like, okay, well, let's sign up, let's register, let's do this. And I ended up, my credit was good because I got a student credit card, and I was building up my credit, was working a job or whatever, because I went to school for business marketing, got a little marketing job at this firm as an intern or whatever. So it was only like $9 an hour, whatever it was, but I had a job, right? So I ended up going to a credit union, and they gave me like a $7,000 line of credit. And I said, okay, well, give me a cashier's check against that credit line, and I'm gonna go to this auction this land tax auction. And I said, whatever this check can get, that's what I'm gonna get. And sure enough, because they tell you do your due diligence, do your research. I didn't do none of that. I just jumped, head first, right? So the first house that I got was literally the house from hell. It was literally, and I still got the house to this day.
Murphy's Law.
Yeah. So, and here's the thing. I thought that I was doing my due diligence, right? Because I had drove by the house. I had looked up online. I had made sure that wasn't no other liens on it, all that other stuff. I thought I did my due diligence. And so at that time, Google Maps was still pretty new. And so what happened was that when they took me to the house, it took me to the house that was next door to the house that I got.
Oh no.
So when I actually got the deed and I looked at the legal description, I was like, well, I know this is the doggone house, but come to find out, the trees and all this stuff had built up to where you couldn't even see the house behind the trees and all that stuff. So,
so bad.
So literally from day one, I had to call the city neighborhood because and then here's the other thing that happened. Once I got the deed and said I was the owner downtown and declared it mine downtown, all the notices started coming. So I was getting public nuisance notices from the housing and preservation. Like I was getting all type of tickets. They said your house is falling apart. It's a dangerous building. They wouldn't even let me pull permits because the house was so bad. They was like, well, we don't even want. I had to get a special permit just to do construction on my own house. They came to the house and told me I couldn't work on my own house without a special construction permit.
What city was that in?
This was in Kansas City. So I grew up in Kansas City. All my family's from Louisiana, so I'm right up under you in Arkansas.
Yeah.
Monroe, Shreveport, all of that. So I got the property, made a bid, and y'all should have saw me at that auction. I was like, yeah, that's my house. I was walking around. I said, I came home and told everybody, I said, I got a deed, y'all. I got a deed.
And they're all laughing.
And sure enough, that house, I mean, everything had to be replaced. It was gutted out. I had to do all the electrical, had to do all the plumbing. And I'm talking about all the way from the sewer line, connecting that, had to replace the sewer line, got a backhoe, dug the hole up in the front, got the sewer line replaced, all the electrical, all the HVAC.
Did you take it down to the studs?
Everything. And then I was working on the roof and the house had come to find out the house had caught on fire and they tried to patch it up, but they didn't actually do the reframing. So while we were on the roof, it was about me and 5 Mexicans on top of the roof and the whole left side of the wall literally falls down.
Oh, yeah. Ouch.
Oh, and I just sat down. I was literally on the roof. It was the middle of August too. I was hot. And I just started crying right there because by that time I had put about $50,000 into this house. And I said, God, the hot damn wall just fell.
And you
think that's horrible. Sorry, I'm laughing, but I completely understand.
I'm trying not to either.
Right. Now here's the thing, y'all. When y'all get in knee deep like that, because at this point I can't even sell the house. And if I do, I might be lucky if I break even. But some kept telling me, don't sell the house, this and that and the other. And then come to find out the previous owner had like federal income tax liens on it and child support liens and all that other stuff. So then when I finally did get somebody to buy it, I couldn't even break even because they said, yeah, what the IRS just put a lien on it and the statute of limitations that passed. So I couldn't get it off.
Wow.
So I still got that house today. To this day, I can't get a line of credit on it, a HELOC, nothing. It's just a rent. It's a permanent rental. So I said,
at least it's bringing your income now.
It's bringing income. And my dad told me, he said, well, think about it like this. If all else fails, you got one house you can go back to. If everything else you're doing fails, you got one house you can go back to.
And it's free and clear.
And free and clear, nobody can take it from you. So that's how I got started. Now when I moved into the Airbnb, I started that around 2016. And that was pretty much I was going to the service at that time. I had joined the Navy because I was like, well, I got all this debt, I got all these bills, I got student loans. And of course, the commercials was like, well, join the Navy and we'll pay for everything. And once they told me they'll pay for everything, I said, shit, well, I guess I'm going to the goddamn Navy.
Like, where do I sign?
Yeah, where do I sign? And so, so I did that. And then I had an apartment that I had rented out. And I said, well, let me just go ahead and rent this apartment out on Airbnb and see what it's all about. So I started doing that in between, and I would come back when I wasn't on deployment, stay there, fix up the house, go out again. And it was just a cycle from there. And then after I got superhost status, I was like, okay, well, where else can I do this? Because me and the property manager was actually cool because we had the same real estate coach, right?
Okay.
So I teamed up with her, and she was like, well, I'm gonna give you my leads on properties, come into my condo buildings and my apartment buildings and start managing the units that's in there. So we'll give you 1 or 2 in each building. And then it just turned into this whole thing to where I had units all over town.
That's
so,
perfect.
yeah. So ever since then, and then when the pandemic hit, and I like what my guy said, the pandemic changed your perception, because now it's like I had the entertainment business and I had other stuff. But then when you get to a point where all of your other operations shut down and literally your money shut down, as an investor, as a business owner, you can't say, oh, well, we ain't got no money, so ain't nothing we can do. You got to keep moving because you're still in business.
Absolutely.
Accounts payable, you still got to pay them bills.
Bills don't say, oh, not pandemic.
Yeah, the IRS don't care, none of that. You got to make it happen.
But let me ask you guys something. Did the pandemic, did it really, as real estate guys, the guys in Airbnb and all of this, what kind of toll did the pandemic have on your income or your ability to sell or rent out your spots?
Income, it was better. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, mine's increased.
Are you serious?
It was better because everybody's at home.
Yeah,
exactly.
Everybody needed a place to stay in, and see, people needed better houses. They needed bigger houses. They needed houses with an office.
They needed long-term housing.
They needed long-term housing.
They needed cars.
Then my Airbnbs, I started working with travel nurses, because nurses, they was called any nurse. It was all hands on deck. Anybody that could work in any part of the country, they was like, come here.
Yeah.
The ones that really affected were the higher end rentals. So, for example, you have $5,000, $6,000 a month in rent.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the ones that got hit hard because
those are luxury. That's something that somebody not paying all the time.
Right.
That makes sense.
Well, Chris, did you guys sell more houses, or did the sale drop for real estate?
It wasn't more on the real estate, because that's the time when interest rates were at 1%, 1.75. So we were actually doing the most refinances we've ever done.
Wow.
And we actually
the lenders couldn't even keep up. The lenders couldn't keep up with the amount of applications coming in.
They could not. Nope.
They told me, they said, do not put a 30-day closing contingency in your contract, because we will tell you right now, we can't get it done in 30 days.
They'll tell you 60 days. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. We actually got down to 45. We didn't ever hit 60. Thank God.
Yeah.
And we just spun them as fast as we could and churn them out. And they all got great deals.
Great. So listen, I'm going to give Quan 2 questions. I got one more question I want to ask each one of you and everything, and we're going to let y'all give a nice, sweet, quick answer so I can be respectful of your time. I can't thank you enough. Not only have you brought a lot of jewels, and I'm talking about diamonds and emeralds, to the table, but you brought a lot of joy. I really enjoyed talking with all of you guys. I'm looking back there at Kevin Costner there on his good days when Kevin was really happy. And I'm yeah. And I'm thinking about, because he said, you remember Matt, you were saying that you were not in the Navy, but I was thinking about the movie with Kevin Costner at the time. When they remember the one with where he had with Ashton Kutcher, where they were doing the water with the
I remember that one. I know which one
you're
talking about.
Yeah, and I'm looking at him, and that's what I'm seeing as Kevin Costner. But listen, what I want to ask you guys in a nice, quick way, and I know it's hard because your job is so hard and you've been doing it for so long, but I want you to give someone that wants to get into real estate, seriously get into it. They want to, they not a shortcut or anything. What would be the best advice you and Chris would give them?
I'll do
714-349-6798, man. That's it right there. That's clean, like sweet. That's what you want, right?
Yep. Say it again. Say it again for him.
Say it again?
Yeah, say it again for him.
I'll do it. 714-349-6798.
Wow. Y'all remember that he's giving it to you. What else, Chris?
Yep. And then mine is, if you want to be serious, just jump in. Don't sit on the sideline. It'll go right past you. Scared money make no money.
I love it.
Don't wait.
Scared money make no money. and tell them you guys are making money. How can they find Chris if somebody wants to buy in you guys' area? Can they come in and say, "Hey, I saw you. I'm just saying, I really want to buy."
Absolutely.
I really want to
Open
buy.
door policy, 7 days a week. We don't care. Anybody can come on in. Also, you can call the 800 number, or you can call me direct. If you look it up online, it's Pacific One Real Estate, Pacific One Lending.
I have it on. It's going to be at the end of the show,
Yep.
so that now y'all know. You can't forget that Pacific One Lending. It's so easy to remember. And
Yep.
these guys are going to take care of you. Have your money ready. Have your credit in check. They're going to be
Absolutely.
ready to help you.
And even if you don't, we can give you pointers as to how to get up that better credit score, or how to get into the home maybe 6 months or a year from now. So it's okay to call. We can help you figure it out.
Sounds awesome. So, Demetrius, you got to go. So with the Airbnb, tell the people how, just give them something sweet and nice. On how, it may not even be sweet. It can be as long as something sticks with them. If they want to get into Airbnbs, what information would you give? What advice?
I'll piggyback off what Chris said. Just get into it. Like I always teach people. Like I don't know for Chris or for Matt. I teach more the beginning entrepreneur that got the hunger, that got the drive, but they don't have the resources and they don't have gas. I teach them. So for me, if I took my circumstances and I made a whole lot out of it. So I look for those same minded people, because when they get tough and when you get back, when you got to sacrifice, or you got to pay the rents a couple of times for your Airbnb to start jumping, or that's when you're going to figure out if you really in the business to make money and for the long term. So for me,
absolutely,
guys, get into it. So I always tell people I didn't know everything about Airbnb. I knew enough where I had the money and I had the capital to try it. From there, I got into it. From there, I started getting into the cars. From there, I said I kept learning more stuff. Then I said, how can I get legit? From there, I got legit. Then I said, which one really started making me more money? And that's why now my business is more focused on cars, because my cars make me so much money. But also I serve so many people, and because I serve so many people, I make money. It's not because of nothing else. People can come to me with no credit check and rent a car and cash at me and pick up. I'm looking at 8 of my cars right here ready to get picked up. And that's just based off me serving my people, listening to my people, giving them what they need. And as I make mistakes, as I grow, they grow. And so do the money. Simple.
And they can't be
know who
lazy.
your insurance man is,
No
because
lazy
I
people.
tried that. I tried that in my cars. I had a few cars that got stolen.
Hey, we gotta wait. Hey, you could call me. I teach ways around that too. I went through all that. I started with personal insurance and used to add people on each time. And then as I started making mistakes, I started moving them on and put them all on one. Then I started doing the fleet insurance. Then I started using it on Turo. I went through all the steps that didn't work to figure out what worked. So now when I teach it, I'd be like, yeah, that don't work. I did that five months ago. That didn't work.
Exactly. Learn from my mistakes. Don't make them yourself.
You feel me? So when I teach it now, it's like I make sure that when my experiences in my life for being an entrepreneur, it's all been from life experience. I lost a comedy club, so I could teach you how to reopen it or how to get it back. I've been on tour. I lost on tour, so I could teach artists how to get back on tour, make that money back, and how to own their own rights. Because when you are artist and you own your jokes and you own your rights and you know how to produce it, you your own boss. I could teach somebody that want to make an Airbnb started a business. It's not hard. You get an LLC, get a bank account, get an EIN number, get a credit line, get you some credit lines, wait a couple of months, be patient, live paycheck to paycheck, watch when that credit comes. Because I'm in that moment right now. I'm like, yes, God, I knew it. So it's a turn up. It's a process. So anybody watching this that want information, I'm all about teaching and giving it out, because the more I teach it, the more I give it out, the better I get, and the more I serve my ultimate purpose. Because I just want to go back on tour 2023 and never have to work again, and knowing that I can tell my jokes to make people laugh and inspire people, not because I got to pay my bills. We good.
Absolutely.
That was my goal when I all I want to do is tell jokes, but because I got ADD and I was in special ed, I got all these other great ideas. So I got to put all these great ideas out to the world so I get back to telling jokes. But that's my purpose, because multiple people dealing with anxieties and having all these thoughts, and can you do it? I'm a living proof that I can do it. I talk on stage. I'm not scared of talking in front of nobody. I just never want to talk. So for me, me making money is it's a game for me at this point. I'm just trying
It's
to see
fun.
where I can run it up.
Yeah.
Because I've already started. I started from zero. I remember during the pandemic, I thought I couldn't go back to zero. And the pandemic took everything from me. And I literally was back in the motel when I was as a kid. And God said, you're not less than because you in this position. You got everything you need. You better run it up even more now. And from that moment to this moment, that's all I've been doing. It's possible. So yeah.
No,
Making
it's
it
always
work.
possible. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
You gotta
and
put
I
your mind to
appreciate
it.
all you guys for sharing and giving information. I know sometimes I start rambling, but I'm passionate about people investing in themselves and investing in the long term. I'm not a person that care about a short-term check. I know what I'm worth. I need a big check. $5 million, get out of here. I know I'm worth 100 mil. I need that right now. And if I don't get
Exactly.
that,
Hey, if they cutting them like that, let me know, because I know I need two.
Hey, they cut mines like that because I pay my dues. I've been putting in work in my business. Yeah, my Airbnb's working, my car business working, my tour working, but it's because of all the 75 business that didn't work, all the stuff that I lost, all the people I hurt. Now I'm here. So now people got to pay for that and respect it because I know who I am, period. People want to talk about Nipsey and the marathon. I'm from South Central. I live on Crenshaw and 75th. It don't get more Crenshaw than me. It don't get more LA than me. It don't get. I'm in my car doing a video right now. So people want to know how I got here, why I'm work, what I'm working. Cause I put in the work. And I know
he said if they want to talk about Nipsey. Devontae, with you though, what
but I gotta go, man. So I love y'all, man. Appreciate y'all. My kids hungry, so appreciate y'all. Have a good one.
Tell them enjoy the meal,
feed
please.
them children.
Feed them. Days and Asteria greens, don't let them stick. Have a good one. So what about you, Devontae? What advice would you give?
I'm gonna piggyback on what everybody else said because the thing about it is that a lot of times when these self-made millionaires get to that millionaire status, I think somebody's Quan, you go on mute now.
He said, "Go on mute now."
I know I talk loud, but I don't talk that loud. But no, the number one piece of advice that I would say, well, a few things. One, definitely get you a mentor.
No, that's it. Come on.
Get you around somebody that's doing it, not just talking about it. And so one of the taglines in our tribe is we don't talk about shit that we don't do. Yeah. So I'm not gonna tell you that I'm a 6-figure coach or a 7-figure coach if I ain't made it and I ain't got a portfolio of other people that I've reproduced that in. So that's number one. Get you the mentorship because it doesn't matter how talented you are, doesn't how much schooling you had, doesn't matter about none of that. If you don't have somebody that can tell you that your shoulder you can cry on or tell you how to avoid pitfalls, you might tap out because you ran into a mistake and that person that's been where you've been can tell you, all right, it's cool. This is what you need to do. Mm-hmm. Or cry about it for a little minute, but you got to get back up because at the end of the day, you started a business. Okay.
Yes.
So in order for it to keep going, especially when you got employees and contractors and everybody else's check is dependent on your check. So if you shut down, everybody that messes up everybody else's money. So that's number one. Number two, which is tied to number one, is you got to keep going. When that roof fell, I wanted to give up right then. I was through with real estate because by that time I had already failed the test. I said the house is from hell. I was getting kicked out of some of the condos that I was in that I got the contract with. I got kicked out in because I had Airbnb tenants that was tearing up stuff, and one person hit somebody's car and had the HOA suing me at one time, and all different types of stuff. So you got to keep going, and when it gets hard, that's when you got to get harder. You got to go harder. When life goes hard on you, you got to go harder. That's why the pandemic didn't really bother me because I was like, okay, well, the pandemic, matter of fact, it slowed me down long enough to where I can actually focus and put in all of those systems that I didn't have. So now I'm like, okay, well, let me focus on the website. Let me focus on the lead generation. Let me focus on the CRM. Let me get this 800 number that I've been meaning to get. Let me get my emails transferred over because I'm tired of people saying John sells real estate at gmail.com. Get you a thing that says John at johnsellsrealestate.com. Okay, it costs you $12 on Google to buy that domain and $6 a month to keep that email. I'm tired of seeing people that say John sells real estate at gmail.com. Get your legitimate email.
You selling real estate. I like that.
Yeah, so and I'm not knocking it, but again, when you start talking about what the other guy was saying, when you're trying to get business financing, business credit, lines of credit, working capital, whatever it is, those lenders want to see that your business is legitimate. And so you have that business phone number, and you have that email, and you have that website, and then you can produce the paperwork, the tax, all of that stuff. And that's advice number 3. Legitimize your business. Legitimize it. So once I got my LLC going, my LLC has been going since 2016, 2015. Now, as of 2020, I said, well, I heard they're giving out these PPP loans, so I need to be a W-2 employee of my business in order to get this PPP loan. So everybody on my team, I said, all y'all moving on, we taking y'all off independent. Everybody's going on payroll today because I heard they giving out money. You know, and so that's what ended up happening. So we did that. We ended up getting some more working capital to keep going, and we just focus on other stuff. You know, and then
they forgave him for you.
Yeah, you know, and so one of the girls that was on my maintenance team, she ended up, because she was in Florida too, she went up to Jacksonville, and then she started doing the whole storm chasing and the roof adjusting and all of that stuff. And now she's so big, she got a contract in Iowa, $2 million contract in Iowa for the derecho that happened. Then she got another contract in Lake Charles with FEMA. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, if we weren't able to keep her going for that time, she would not have been able to save enough money to start her own contract. So now she got her own contract in business. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I say you got to keep going. If you the leader, if you the head, you got to keep going because your money is tied to everybody else's money is tied to your money. So if you shut down and you fail, you really don't know how many other people you're affecting.
No, I feel it. I know exactly what you mean. Quan, real quick, you say you have a couple of questions for him.
Well, I just want to say, first and foremost, both you and even Demetrius answered a lot of stuff I was going to ask. A lot of stuff. And the fact that y'all dropped so much gems. I would say this. I'm actually down to one question. And this is a very particular question that I'm going to ask both of you. I know that we talked about the pandemic, you know, before the pandemic, during the pandemic, and after the pandemic. We're now talking about the aftermath. I know Chris, we're talking about California. I know Devontae was about Florida. With the now increasing opportunities in real estate, in Airbnb, we're noticing now that the financial structure of our country is at a certain level right now where you have now, it's no middle class. It's either you're here or you're here. There's nothing really middle, and that middle is really disintegrating more. I remember even working for Pacific One Lending when, you know, one of the recessions happened as well. So my question in particular, I'm asking is, how are you faring out financially when it comes to the market that's happening right now? And do you find the discrepancy in a lot of the people you're working with?
Okay, so it's like kind of like a two-part question.
Yeah.
During the boom back just recently from 2014 through 2018, I would say, we ended up seeing high numbers of people who ended up acquiring properties. All of these properties, now they've refinanced them into higher interest rates. They've taken the cash out of them, and people like to use the capital from their house as a savings account. When they do so, when the market starts correcting itself from the 1.75 interest rates to now 6.5 points for an interest rate, people are eventually going to walk away from their homes. You're going to start seeing back what we saw in 2008, a shortcoming of the homes that people are over equity positioned. I know a lot of people in our neighborhood, for example, it's an old neighborhood, so there's very little loans that are currently with my neighborhood in California. And there are certain other houses that have, I'd say, close to 90-95% LTV. So if you break that down, the ones with the 95% LTV after a 30% decrease are going to end up being about 20% underwater altogether.
Now you house poor.
Yeah.
And now you're house poor, and you start looking at your statements every time you get them in the mail. And you go, why am I paying on this when my house ain't worth it? And that's when you'll start to see short sales come about or just straight foreclosures. And it's inevitable. I mean, we can't keep chasing inflation like we are and jacking up the interest rate. I mean, just today, we lost 0.75 again towards the interest rate.
Wow.
And we're going to see that more and more, unfortunately.
Mm.
We shouldn't have had 1.75 for as long as we did.
Yeah.
We held it down way too long. And
But
then
that's-
now we're breaking it as we go up. We should just rip the Band-Aid off. Tough luck. This is where we're sitting at. They would hedge inflation right then and there. That'd be done. And we, as all the individuals, can see where your house is going to fit. And that's where my thought process goes on this.
So here's my summation of just the whole in the pandemic is good because it happened in the generation of millennials and Gen Xers, right? Who have never seen something like this happen, right? History.
And Devontae also add even in the Airbnbs, because I know also, and I'm surprised Chris didn't bring this up as well. The connection of how those short-term sales and those straight outs now become almost becomes a, how can I put this, like a black hole, where in this black hole, whoever picks it up, they can now either flip it into an Airbnb or flip it into something else. So Devontae, go from there.
So one of the things that Chris just said that was really powerful, and I want people to catch this, is that he said that people use the equity or the cash went in their mortgages or whatever's left from their house as a savings account.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you why that's not always a good idea to look at it that way. You have to look at it from the perspective of equity. What do you own? Okay. Now, if you look at everything that you have equity in, a business or real estate or property, whatever it is, and you look at the cash value of that, if you look at it as a savings account, then what happens is that when you run into an emergency, you put that, the first thing you do is you go pull it out, right? When you literally have had Susie Orman telling you cannot afford it for however many years she's telling you can't afford it.
Yeah.
You got Dave Ramsey that's been calling you stupid for however many years he's been calling you, because he's done it, so he knows. You know, and then you have people, because then what happens is I used to listen to those two people religiously, and then I started moving into listening to Robert Kiyosaki, and I started reading his book about the cash flow quadrants, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and all of that stuff. And I said, you know what? I gotta find a way to have more assets, because I can leverage, if I figure out an exit strategy that is going to make money from that asset, then I don't have to let go of the asset to get that fast money right then. So, for example, my mom,
all about cash flow.
It's all about cash flow. It's not about how much cash you have in hand. And I took a screenshot one time. The first time my account ever had $100,000 at once, like legitimately had all the deposits was clear, all the check, and I said, I finally got $100,000 cash. I finally got it. I took a screenshot and I said, okay, that's done. I've done it. Move on. Because what happens is when you get caught up on having that cash in the bank, and then it's time to start investing in stuff, you'll go back into that. You run the risk of going back into that scarcity mindset, right? And so going back to your question, Quan, about the pandemic and the Airbnbs, right? It was a perfect time to buy a house to get a low interest rate, but it was not the time to do it just for the sake of, well, I either want to cash out on my refinance just to have the money, because what did people do that for? Oh, well, it's a pandemic. I might lose my job. I already lost my job. I need some money. No, leave that in there. Take the unemployment, take all the moratoriums and just live off of that. Okay. And so do that long enough to where if you're going to take some money out, you need to buy another asset, buy another property, do something else that you can do income producing. And so that's what I did when I went down to Florida, as I said, well, let me see if I can get my hands on a property, because now in Miami, you can't, when the pandemic happened, if you waited too late, if you waited till about June of 2021, you couldn't get nothing in Miami for cheap, nothing. And even if you had money, you could have good credit, you could have all your paperwork lined up. There was no way you could do it, because people from New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, where the real estate so high up there, they took all the equity out of their houses. Whatever money they had left over, they came down to Miami and said, you know what, I'm gonna pay that price, plus I'm gonna pay up to 50% over asking value, because I got it, because I just sold $1 million house in New York or New Jersey. So now if you drive around Miami, you see a lot of New Jersey plates, a lot of Connecticut plates, a lot of New York plates, because those people said, if I'm going to do it, I can get just a nice house in Miami. I'm going to be on the beach, and I'm going to still have $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 of equity. Now you can't do that because those same people, now that the pandemic is over and all those remote jobs that they got is calling them back to the office, they're going back to New York, they're renting a spot, and then they're renting in Miami to you $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month.
And eventually that 5, 6, 7 ain't gonna be able to pay it.
You ain't gonna be able to pay it. But see, Miami is a high market just like LA is. So people are used to paying that kind of rent. So they're not, that doesn't affect them. The pandemic was good for that time because rents was really, really low. But now it's back to what it was before the pandemic. So people are like, oh, okay, well, fun's over. So now we just got to pay the rent, you know. But
then when it comes now to flipping it, even now with an Airbnb in particular, do you feel that it's the risk and reward to do it? Because I know what Chris is, and I'm surprised Chris ain't brought him more on finances because he's great with finances and the back end and the accounting. Is that yes? And you brought up with assets and liability. Is the asset of what is owed great enough to overcome the liability?
It may not
now the liability may catch up to you no matter what.
So it may not seem like that at first, right? But and Chris can probably tell you this because I'm a finance guy too. That's what I did. My corporate job was I did corporate finance for Target and Amazon and all these Fortune 500 companies, right? So I know how to look at spreadsheets and do budgets, right? So when you look at amortization schedules and you see it's like, okay, in the beginning it doesn't really seem like it's like, well, I'm putting a lot of money up front, but it's like you have to look at it as I'm building equity. I'm building ownership interest into this property. So if you always look at it as a liability and not see the asset piece of it, again, you get lost in that scarcity mindset to where it's like now when you want to take cash out, that's why you rush to take the cash out. But you shouldn't do that. If you do, put it towards something that you know is going to be income producing, which in this case at that time it was Airbnb, and so that's what I did. So I said, well, let me and I think even the other guy was talking about it. Lease arbitrage for Airbnb is really big now. So now people are signing leases for a year for wherever it is, and then they're paying the owner, you know, the rent plus 1% or whatever it is of the revenue, and then they collecting the rest of that as Airbnb. I know people that's doing that in Atlanta, Houston, Miami, you know, and it's like, okay, and then what did he just say? Now I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna pay that rent, so I'm not getting the most money because I'm paying it to the actual owner. But let me just do it long enough because see that cash flow from a finance standpoint, the bank wants to see deposits. They want to see average monthly revenues. They want to see do you have constant income coming in. And so when you got everything on Cash App and on PayPal and on Venmo and it's all over the place, no, you need to conglomerate that to a business bank account that has a business debit card. Do it long enough. Start working on your business credit card. Or your business line of credit, start running everything through that because now you have a streamline of paperwork that you can produce. So when the lender comes and says, do you have your paperwork lined up? I got it right here. I got a whole file. I literally, everything is there. So there's no question. So that's why you have to have that. So in the short term, to answer your question, yes, it may not seem like you get in the head, but that's the trick that you have to tell yourself, and you have to talk yourself through it to where in the end, it's like, I'm going to own this property. It's going to be this. And then we're talking about a legacy, right? So we're not talking about this. Y'all see this Versace shirt and this chain, but I just started wearing this stuff. I've been doing this 10 years. I never wore shit like this. But see, now I went so long, you know, driving a beat up Volkswagen Jetta, living in a house that didn't have no heat and no air. As I was fixing it up, I went through that struggle. So now it's like, yeah, I deserve some damn Versace. Fuck it.
I deserve some Versace.
I like it.
Yeah, but you went through the process. So guys, this is what we're gonna do. I saw Matthew come back in. We're gonna get ready to close it up. We definitely see
Matt. Yeah, I'm on Matt's phone. His wife's already hitting.
She already hit him. So what we finna close this out. We definitely know there's room for more here, which is always great. Each one of you say just one thing motivated for the people that are watching the show. We're going to let you exit out. Make it quick, sweet, or quick and strict. But just give them one line of inspiration.
Work your ass off.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Come on,
that's
man.
It.
Come on, man. I know you got
my one liner is don't give up.
I love it.
Just don't give up. I don't care what goes wrong. Just don't give up.
You got work your ass off and don't give up.
And don't give up.
Tell Matthew, don't give me nothing crazy. Give me something short.
Matt, give me something short. Hello. One liner.
Just
Man, I
one
love you
line.
guys. And let's get some good food and be blessed that God's still allowing us to take another breath.
I love it. I
Know
love it. All right, guys. Quan,
What's up?
one liner, real quick. Just for one liner, they gotta go.
All right. Play your role and be ready to be a multiple role player.
All right, guys. You guys
Now-
know my line never changes. I tell people that knowledge is your power, and I bring people with knowledge to the table. But love is everything because God is love. So, guys,
That's right.
we want to let you know
Now,
that.
can I do my advertising?
Yes.
I need to know, y'all need to know where to find me. So again, if you go on Instagram, you'll find me I_am_.
But I'm gonna have it after the show as well. Don't worry.
Yeah, so make sure you go on there if you want to invest. So we're moving to international real estate. So that's what I do now. That's my next big thing. They saying inventory is hot here, hot here. We create inventory in other countries. So right now we're going to Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. So if you have any questions about that, or you want to get logged into our CRM, go to my website, www.investwithdevonterichard.com. Get yourself in, fill out the form, and then one of my agents will reach out to you, and we'll figure out how to make this money. We got Airbnbs and all that stuff. We got the whole process set up for you. So if you want to buy something in Dominican Republic, set it up for yourself as a vacation home, do that. And then in the meantime, we'll manage it for you on Airbnb, and you'll have income. It'll pay for itself. And once it's paid off, you'll have residual income and you got a vacation home. It's simple as that.
Pacific One, guys. If y'all need to reach Matthew or Chris, they're at Pacific One. They're willing and ready to help you. Guys, y'all have a blessed day. Enjoy it with your family and the rest of your evening. We can't thank you enough for coming on, making the show happen. God bless.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. God bless. Devontae, I got you. Everybody's going to know how to reach you guys. Y'all have a great one.
All right.
All right now.
I come through Atlanta, right? Everybody knows I'm in Atlanta. Friday night, you show up backstage just to support. Didn't even know she was in the audience. She ain't make no announcement, right? Right? Just came to look after your girl, to support, and it was such a good sister. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. So much. We come up together. We come up together. What you want to do? Oh, I'm scared that song myself right now. It's too early in the show to do it. I can't do it. I ain't ready. Are we ready? Y'all ready? Okay. I'm scared of this song. I haven't done this song. I didn't do it in Atlanta. When we lose the way, your love is smiling on me. I saw your face, and then I knew we would be sister, friend, and mercy. I was so afraid by those eyes they said, come on. Then what you say? What you say? What you say? What you say? And I said to you, can we talk for a while? Can we talk for a while? And you said that's all right, child. When you love me, I smile. Feel my heart, you bring me joy. Regina Bell. She has never hit with this man in her life.
Oh, oh, oh. They say life is what you make it. But I'm a legend in the making. I know just what I'm made of. Oh, 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 oh. They say life is what you make it, yeah. But I'm a legend in the making, yeah. I know just what I'm made of, yeah, yeah. Oh, oh, oh. They say life is what you make it. But I'm a legend in the making.